Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something most of us wear all the time, a simple cotton t-shirt. I mean, it's soft, it's comfortable, but there's a hidden story woven into those fibers. And trust me, it has a way bigger impact on the planet than you'd probably guess. So let's unravel it.
I mean, have you really stopped and thought about it? Not just the brand or the color, but what it actually took to make that shirt. The answers are pretty eye-opening, and it all starts with a few key numbers that might just change how you look at your closet forever. Okay, let's start with this one, 16%. Get this, that's the slice of the entire world's pesticides that get used on just one crop, cotton. Let that sink in for a second. A single plant is soaking up that huge a share of all the chemicals we use. It's kind of wild, right?
Next up, water. 2,700 liters. That is the insane amount of fresh water it takes to produce one single conventional cotton t-shirt. To give you some perspective, that's enough drinking water for one person for about 900 days. Yeah, all for one shirt.
And finally, 10%. The entire clothing industry is responsible for 10% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. That's actually more than all international flights and maritime shipping combined. So that simple t-shirt isn't just thirsty, it has a pretty hefty carbon footprint too.
So those numbers, they paint a pretty clear picture, don't they? But what's the story behind them? Let's dig a little deeper and really get into the hidden impacts of conventional cotton, starting with all those chemicals.
This is the question that always gets me. How can cotton, this fluffy, natural-looking plant, be such a chemical hog? The scale of it just seems so out of whack.
And this is why. It's all about proportion. Look at this. Cotton only takes up about 2.5% of the world's farmland, a tiny little slice, yet it consumes a whopping 16% of pesticides and 7% of herbicides. It's just punching way, way above its weight. And that chemical overload doesn't just stay on the farm, it creates this massive ripple effect across entire ecosystems.
So where do all those chemicals end up? Well, a lot of them get washed off the fields and head straight for our water supply. Let's follow that trail for a minute.
So it's this two-part problem, right? You've got pollution and you've got consumption. First, the chemicals seep into the groundwater, poisoning the drinking water for local communities. And at the same time, the sheer volume of water being used is just staggering. That 2,700-liter number isn't just a statistic. It has real-world consequences. It's a huge reason why places like the Aral Sea, once the fourth largest lake on Earth, have pretty much dried up.
And you know, this isn't just an environmental story. It's a human one. When you're talking about this level of chemical exposure, you have to ask about the people, the farm workers, the families living nearby. What's the human cost of all this?
Well, the danger doesn't stay in the fields. These chemicals become part of the dust in the air, and that dust travels, settling over nearby towns. And this creates devastating health problems for the people breathing it in every day, with studies showing higher rates of cancer and other serious diseases. It's a really heavy price to pay.
Okay, I know that was a lot of heavy information, but you have to understand the problem to really appreciate the solution. And the good news is there is a much better way. So let's talk about the promise of organic.
So what exactly do we mean by organic cotton? Well, at its heart, it's about farming with nature instead of against it. It means absolutely no synthetic pesticides or fertilizers. Farmers use natural methods like crop rotation and beneficial insects to grow the cotton. It's better for the planet and, of course, way safer for them. This chart really lays it all out, plain and simple. On one side, you have conventional farming. It's chemical heavy, it pollutes water, and it actually destroys the soil over time. On the other side, organic farming gets rid of those synthetic chemicals, which means cleaner water. And get this, it actually builds up the soil, making it healthier and more resilient for the future.
Now you'll hear this incredible number thrown around, up to 91% water savings, which is amazing. But I want to be totally transparent here. The water conversation is a little complex. That huge saving mostly applies to rain-fed organic farms. If the farm is irrigated, the savings look different. But the key thing is that by creating healthier soil, organic farms are much, much better at holding onto water naturally.
And you know, organic isn't the only game in town. The world of sustainable fabrics is getting really creative, and there are other awesome options we should definitely know about. Let's take a look.
Two of the big ones are recycled and regenerative cotton. Recycled is just common sense, right? It takes old textiles and spins them into new fiber, so you don't need any new land, water, or chemicals. And then you have regenerative, which is like organic on steroids. The goal isn't just to do less harm, it's to actively do good for the planet by rebuilding the soil and pulling carbon out of the atmosphere.
Pretty cool stuff.
And this little table is a super handy cheat sheet. You can see right away the recycled cotton is the champion when it comes to saving water. And hey, we can't forget about other awesome fibers like hemp and linen. They're naturally sustainable and need very little water or chemicals. The main point is we've got choices.
Okay, so we've armed ourselves with all this info. Now what? How do we take all these facts and actually turn them into something meaningful? This last part is all about empowering you to make a real difference. So let's do a super quick recap of the big takeaways. Remember that crazy mismatch? 2.5% of the land, 16% of the pesticides? Remember the 2,700 liters of water in just one t-shirt? And most importantly, remember that there are solutions, like organic, that can slash these numbers dramatically.
So what does this all mean for you? It means your choices have real power. Seriously, every time you check a label and choose something made from organic or recycled cotton, you're basically casting a vote. It's a vote for healthier soil, cleaner water, and safer lives for the people who grow and make our clothes. It all starts with just being a little more curious about what's behind the tag. Because when we choose consciously, we're not just buying a piece of clothing, we're helping to build a better, healthier future for all of us. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.